whistle.
Another offsides.
15:51 to go in the third period here at Tri-Cities Coliseum. Faceoff will be right at the head of the slot, just inside the Tri-Cities blue line. Faceoff will be Boyer against McNutt. McNutt winning the draw. McNutt back to Sand. They shoot it into the Kamloops end, but Deck is there to stop it. Dumped in by Trevor Sand. Goes around behind the Kamloops net. Blazers bring it out. Buchanan to Boyer. Boyer whipping it behind the net, right to left. Furlan stops it. Leaves it for Jakes. Comes out to the left point. Deck takes a whack at it. They get ahead of the slot. A shot! Blocked by Furlan. A drive there by Buchanan. Furlan blocked it, and it goes off to the right side into the corner as they scramble for it along the boards. And we'll have a stoppage now as Cruz ties up with Dirksen and look like Trevor Buchanan.
With us Tuesday night for the official grand opening of the Tri-Cities Coliseum.
Don't forget, there are tickets available for the grand opening of the Coliseum on Tuesday, featuring comedian Rich Little.
That ought to be a lot of fun.
Says he's been working on George Bush. Read my lips. George Bush. I don't do that real good, do I?
That's what Rich is for.
I don't know. 30,000 comedians out of work, and I got to try to be cute. Face-off will be to the left of Frank Furlan. Barnes against Huber as Huber goes back to get a stick, I think. Well, Huber went to get a new stick, and they're waving him off. And Ryan Harrison comes back on. The home team, the Americans, have the last change in a shift change like that, where there's a stoppage in play.
And they sent him out.
Well, they sent Delcourt out, and guess who's in? Barnes against Harrison. Nice little sucker move there, I think. Jakes to Delcourt. Delcourt to Barnes. Barnes, 2-on-3. Barnes across the blue line. Gets it to Spenrath. Spenner dumps it into the corner. Racing in after it is Delcourt. Out along the boards, and Jakes is there. Centered on the stick of Delcourt. Delcourt wipes out, falling down. Taken off his stick by number 25, Sador. Sador slides it between the legs of Scherstenka, but it's blocked by Furlan. They try to center it, and it's checked away by Scherstenka. Back into neutral ice. And we'll have an offsides against the Blazers as they puck went into neutral ice and back into the American zone, catching a couple of Blazers still in the zone.
You know, that's a tough play for Frank Furlan to make, too, when Sador came through there and did that little flip underneath the legs of Scherstenka. You know, the goalie is completely screened right there, and you've got to keep your eye on that puck. That was those are real easy plays, they look like to the fans, but to a goaltender, they're nightmares.
Huber against Rennie. Well, there's so many things going on the ice that it really can cause problems. McClelland dumping it into the Americans' end. Furlan back in, plays it out to Duval. Duval with it in the corner. Around behind the net to Krause. Krause losing it to Huber. Ooh, right out the side of the net. There's Needham. Needham, can he get a shot? No. Shizowski left. Shizowski tried to get it back to Needham. Comes to the point. McClelland to drive. Stick saved away by the Americans. Dumped into neutral ice. They tried to get it to LeBrun. Can't do it. Duval wheels back for it as Needham is upended by Rennie. Pass goes across now for Malone. Shot into the Kamloops end. LeBrun races in after it. Kicked off the stick of McClelland, but tied up on the boards. Duval and Shizowski dig for it along with Deck. Now to Huber. Huber out from behind his net. Huber almost losing it to Malone. Now Rennie taking it away from him. Dogger with it to Malone. Right in front of the goal, and it's knocked away by Dean Cook. Now the puck shot down the length of the ice. It'll go into the Americans' end. And left for Murray Duval. Duval shoots it ahead to LeBrun. LeBrun getting it to Rennie. Rennie 2-on-3. Shoots it into the Kamloops end. Shift change for the Americans as the Blazers start to bring it up. Boyer. Zach Boyer shoots it in on Furlan. A glove save. And the Magician will leave it behind it. No, he'll whip it around the boards to Rennie. Rennie with it to Robertson. Good move there by Robertson, but he loses the puck along the boards. Stolen back by Scherstenka. Kwiatkowski with it. Kiwi through center ice, dumping it into the Kamloops end. It'll go down into the left corner. Here goes Nibbs. Ooh, a big hit on McLeod. Nibbs really popped McLeod there. In along the boards. They dig for it on the right of the net. Kwiatkowski and Robertson. Now taken off a Robertson stick by Cruz. Shot back into the Tri-Cities end, and Sherstenka wheels back for it. Shoots a pass ahead to Nibbs. Nibbs dumping it into the Kamloops end. Takes a hit by Anderson. Taken away from him by Anderson, and here comes Corey Anderson up the left wing boards. Centered for Sador. Goes around behind the net. They try to wrap it around. Ferland is there to block it. Big hit on the boards as Nibbs takes a whack at it. It goes back into the Kamloops end. Back for it is Deck for icing.
Boy, Kamloops is really applying the pressure down there in the Tri-Cities defensive zone. And if I was to say who came out with momentum at the end of the intermission, I would have to say Kamloops is coming out.
Yeah, I think so. They scored with 15 seconds gone, 15 seconds into the period.
They're really applying the pressure down there on Frank.
But the Americans have been able to hold them so far now. Yeah. We remain tied at 3. Face off to the left of Frank Ferland. Delcourt chased out of there, and in comes Barnes. I don't know what that little maneuver is all about, but Barnes will take the face-off against Huber. And Barnes wins the draw. Goes back to Barnes. Barnes wheels around beside the net, and we'll start to bring it out. Here comes Barnes. Headman pass intended for Delcourt. Blocked away. But Cole dumping it into the Kamloops end. Stolen away by number 6, Linford. Barnes takes it away from Linford, and we have a hooking call.
And this might go against Stu.
It is going against Tri-Cities. It go against number 14, Barnes, I believe. Barnes wheeling around to make sure that referee LaRue has the benefit of Stu's thinking on this subject, but basically for naught.
All right. Relatively a clean hockey game. You know that word, and I don't want to use it. Fights?
Not a one.
Not one.
And not even close, really.
No, it really has. It's been a real well-checked game.
Although I would hasten to point out that Don Schmidt has not been in the game for most of a period now. And well, they do a little repair work in front of the net, waiting. Now the referee's ready to go. There's kind of a rough spot of ice down in front of the goal at the closed end of the Coliseum, in front of where Dean Cook is minding the net. And that dates all the way back to the first night of practice here. In fact, it dates back to when Olaf Kolzig injured his knee, dug a big divot out of the ice, and it's still a little bit thin right in that spot. They'll take the ice out after tonight's game, getting ready for the Rich Little concert, and then put it back for next weekend. As the Americans win the draw, dump it into the Kamloops end. In after it is McClellan. McClellan, as Nibbs takes it off McClellan's stick, takes a shot, but it's a little wide of the net. Now it's stolen again by Nibbs. Jakes and Nibbs. Nibbs goes in on Cook. Shoots it again wide of the net. Out of Kraus as the Americans beat the penalty killer, doing the penalty killing. They got 3 shots on goal. And it would have been shorthanded goals as Buchanan goes down, and the puck into the neutral ice area. Shift change for Kamloops. Shazowski shooting it right now for Harrison. Back into neutral ice. McClelland goes left to Needham. Needham almost loses it at neutral ice to Shazowski. Shoots it left to Harrison. Harrison dumps it in behind the net. Kraus is there for the Americans. Leaves it back for Jakes. Jakes and Harrison tangle with it. Needham tried to center it, almost kicked in by Nibbs. And Ferland has to come out, kick Nibbs out of the way, and then make the save as Kraus and Needham face up. Kraus just trying to get Needham out of the way. I'll tell you what, if I was Frank Ferland, I might want to get up and wrap the stick around Nibbs' head. I don't think Calvin did it on purpose, but he almost scored the goal.
Oh, Frank.
And Ferland saying, hey, listen, how much abuse do I have to take down here? As he discusses it with referee LaRue, and that will probably have about as much effect as nothing on Dennis LaRue, but got to have a fairly thick hide and bad hearing to be a Western Hockey League official. As the Blazers still on the power play on the penalty to Barnes. Deck with it as they win the draw. Into the corner it goes. Here's Duval in after it for Kraus. Chipped it out now to Delcourt. Delcourt with it along the boards. Losing it to Shazowski. Back out to McLeod. A drive, and it goes way up high. Went up and hit one of the ceiling beams. Way up at the end of the Coliseum.
Now, if you're listening on the radio at home, this Coliseum has open-ended at the rafters that goes down into the concession area. That's the second one I've seen now fly up and hit the close going out to the concession area.
Yeah, one went out last night.
Yeah. It's hit the F section up here and bounced around, and there was some heads ducking up there. And had a little bit of speed on it, Kurt.
Face off, top of the circle to the right of Frank Furlan. Taken out of there by McLeod. McLeod goes right to left, across along the blue line. Back up head of the slot to Deck, a drive. Shazowski, his shot blocked by Furlan. Great job by the magician.
Excellent,
shot
excellent
back
save.
into the Kamloops end. Dean Cook goes back to leave it for Kim Deck. Hey, I tell you what, Shazowski had that one at point-blank range.
That's right.
And the Magic Man made him come up short.
Oh,
Furlan moving to the right, a deflected puck. Furlan just kicks it out of the way. Now Barnes wheels into the play. Penalty's over. Puck knocked away by Kraus, but Deck has it, dumps it into the corner. 9:48 to go. We're tied at 3 here in the third period. Jake's with it. Crowd kind of getting into this one. Not as big as last night, but noisier. Down into the left corner. Spenrath goes in after McClellan. They shoot it out along the boards. Delcourt keeping it in play. Whips it all the way around the boards. Back out to the point. Delcourt digging at it. Manages to, nope, loses it to Anderson. Anderson, quick outlet pass to Boyer. Back to Corey Anderson. Anderson up the left wing boards. To the right of Furlan. Centers it. But it's blocked away by Jakes. To Spenrath. To Barnes. Barnes 2-on-2 with Spenrath. Loses the puck. Has it knocked away from him as they scramble for it. Back into neutral ice. McClellan. McClellan getting it ahead to Boyer. Boyer goes right to Anderson. Anderson fans. Here comes Delcourt. 3-on-1. Delcourt with Barnes. Barnes a drive. Cook covers it up. Good job by Dean Cook once again.
That was a controlled rebound right there, and that's what a great goaltender will do.
It hit Cook right in the chest.
Yeah.
He dropped it right in front of him and then covered up.
And that's what you're supposed to do. And you know, the younger goaltenders can take a point from that right there. When you have a shot that is as hard as that, you got to understand those things will fly in different directions.
You bet.
And if you can keep them right in front of you so that you have control of it, jump down on it if there's a lot of interference and freeze it, and we'll have a face-off.
Barnes got to be wondering what you got to do to beat Dean Cook, because he dropped that one in the cannon at about 15 feet, pulled the trigger, and Cook was right there to smother it. Now the crowd getting a wave going here in the Coliseum. LeBrun against Harrison. LeBrun winning the draw, slides it toward the goal. Cook there to leave it for Deck. Deck shoots an outlet pass, goes into neutral ice. Back forward is Kraus. Kraus keeping it in play for the Americans, but Harrison there. Harrison into the Tri-Cities end. Goes into the corner right. Bertuzzi. Whoa! Bertuzzi was airborne. Shane Cole really whacked him back into neutral ice. LeBrun to steal a pass away from Bertuzzi. LeBrun getting it into the Kamloops end. Here comes LeBrun. Shot! And it's blocked again by Dean Cook. And did LeBrun take a hit? LeBrun run right into the boards hard by Paul Cruz.
And Cruz is down, and his head went directly into the boards, and that is why you use helmets in this league.
Well, Cruz had LeBrun lined up, I want to tell you. He had LeBrun in the crosshairs, and LeBrun got one quick step to get out of the way, and Cruz hit that board like a guided missile.
And that was with his head. And
he's about 4 inches shorter now. Oh, I can feel vertebrae crack clear up here.
Ooh.
8:26 to go in the third period, tied at 3 in Tri-Cities Coliseum. Kwiatkowski against Huber. Won by Huber. Comes out along the boards. Kraus, a shot! But it's gloved right in front of the net by McClellan. Back behind the net, it goes a wraparound. Kwiatkowski a whack at it, can't get it to go. Kevin Robertson in there all over the play. Needham, outlet pass, but there's nobody home for the Blazers. It'll go across the goal line. Jakes will touch it for icing. Ooh, my, oh my. Blazers trying to get a quick outlet pass, and it just wouldn't happen that time.
You know, there's a lot of people that don't like using helmets, but going back to the point there where Cruz went just directly into the boards with his head.
Oh, man.
And it's a good idea, and when you're in the pros, it's optional to use a helmet or not. And back in the beginning of when helmets started hitting the pros was a guy by the name of Stan Mikita. And Stan Mikita always wore a helmet when helmets were very unfashionable. And it's a good thing that helmets are a required piece of equipment here in the WHL.
Well, it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The less you use one, the less you think you use one.
That's right.
You need one. Mainly because the less you think, period. Huber with it across neutral ice, dumping it into the Kamloops end, or into the Americans' end. In behind the net, Needham goes after it. Tied at 3. Puck taken away by the Americans. Robertson feeds a pass right side. Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski 2-on-3. Kwiatkowski in the corner, tries to leave it for Robertson. Shot off the board. Sajin's drive wide of the net. It'll come out to Rob Cross at the point. Centered. And a whack at it by Robertson, but he can't get it to go anywhere. Blazers bring it back out into neutral ice to Needham. Needham and a whistle, as in ahead of Needham was Zach Boyer.
Some great action at both ends of the rink here tonight.
Well, these teams are racing up and down, and you had to wonder about the Blazers watching them at home as to whether they could come out here in a big rink where they've had trouble and skate well.
They're trying to snap an 0 for 5 on road games right now.
Well, they've skated very well. I still don't see Don Schmidt. I don't know whether he was ejected by the referee or whether and received a game misconduct, or whether Ken Hitchcock sent him off the bench. But gone he is, and the Blazers could use him. Goes into the corner on the faceoff. Duval around to Kraus. Kraus with it. Rob Kraus tried to get it to Delcourt. Almost stolen away, but Delhi has it. Delcourt across the blue line. Big hit there. Delhi leaving it behind, dumping it in. Now Delcourt losing his stick, has to go pick it up as the Blazers bring it back. McLeod chips a pass on the left side now to Harrison. Harrison shooting it in on Furlan. Furlan comes up with a block. Leaves it behind for Murray Duval. Duval around behind the net. Duval setting up the line rush for the Americans. Duval out to Kraus. Kraus snaps the pass ahead to Barnes. Hits Barnes' stick and goes into the Kamloops end. Barnes and Delcourt in after it. Will have icing as McLeod got to it first for the icing call.
This is the kind of hockey game that fans really get into, and you can tell everybody is starting to do their little clapping now.
I'm not sure if that's Don Schmidt. Oh, that's Hirsch, the backup goalie, without his helmet on over there. Sitting at the end of the bench.
Yeah, just a little while ago, I saw Steve Passmore, number 30, the goaltender, the backup goalie right now for the Americans, catch a stick right on the side of the face because he's leaning over the boards over there. And he kind of jumped back a little bit. I don't know if he's old enough to shave, but...
Welcome to the league, young man. He's just about 16. Rennie on the faceoff, now being chased out of the faceoff circle. LeBrun comes in. Huber wins it, left of Furlan. Shot toward the net, but it's deflected out front. Now LeBrun has it across neutral ice. LeBrun from Malone. Knocked away, but Scherstenka keeping it in play. To LeBrun. LeBrun to the right of the net. LeBrun pulling up. Centers it from Malone. It's chopped away and goes into the left boards. Needham with it. Rennie trying to keep it in play. Back into neutral ice. Scherstenka with it. Now Dan will air it into the corner. Just chipped it up high like a nine iron shot. Creighton with it. Creighton gets it over to Deck. Deck has it stripped away from him at the blue line. To Malone. Malone losing it there to Chizowski. Back to Kamloops. Huber with it. Huber through neutral ice as he's wiped out by a teammate, and it goes into the corner. Shift change for the Blazers. Here comes LeBrun. LeBrun looking for somebody. Finds Scherstenka. Scherstenka dumps it down into the Kamloops end. Blazers will chase it down. Shift change for the Americans. Colin Kraus along with Nibbs, Kwiatkowski, and Robertson. A shot smothered by Kraus. Taken by Anderson off in the corner. Head of the slot, it goes to McLeod. McLeod's drive, and Furlan blocks it.
It's up
loose
front.
puck. And here comes Robertson. Robertson, 3-on-2. Robertson goes right to Kwiatkowski. Kiwi can't quite handle a pass. Overskates the puck. Chip back along the boards. In after it is Shane Cole. But the Blazers dump it back to neutral ice. Know how many times the Americans have had a clean breakaway or a 3-on-2 and not gotten a shot. Nibbs shooting it into the Kamloops end. Speared a little bit there by Creighton, and it goes in behind the net. as McClelland has it. McClelland getting it out into neutral ice. Back forward is Krause. Krause shooting it back to the Kamloops blue line. Now Robertson with it. Shooting it across the blue line. Stopped by McClelland. He comes across the neutral zone. McClelland with it. Head of the slot. Blocked by Ferland. Rebound comes out to Robertson. Robertson slaps it down the ice. Back for it for Kamloops is Harrison. Harrison wheels around behind the net. Tied up by Spinrath. Taken off Spinrath. Stick by Delcourt. Comes out there to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi across the neutral ice area.
Nice sweep
Leaves
check.
it behind. Good check by Delcourt to Barnes. Here comes Stu. Hear the fans yelling, Stu, Stu. Barnes dumping it into the corner.
Dump and chase.
And Spinrath will chase it down. Bad pass. It goes to Delcourt. Tried to get it to Spinrath across the slot. Chizowski there. Spinner takes a whack at it. Puck's just to the right of the net. Now Barnes with it. Barnes! Oh, great save again by Dean Cook. Out to the point. Scherstenka. Left point. Scherstenka takes it in. Beats it to Delcourt. His shot. Hits the pipe. Centered again. Huber has it.
And a penalty.
And a whistle. A penalty coming up.
Boy, did the Americans show some offensive moves there.
Yep, Delcourt, a good backhand. He had a shot there. And on the penalty, it looks like it's going to go against the Blazers. And it could go, well, I thought it was going to go against Huber. Instead, it goes against Creighton.
And I think Creighton's got a little lucky. I think he should have been called a couple of minutes ago with throwing his lumber around down there.
Well, Creighton goes at 16:06. The period, 4,754. Did I hit it or what? I said 4,800. That's close enough.
I'll tell you what.
I'm getting real scary like this. 2-minute penalty to Creighton. And the face-off will come to the left-hand side of Dean Cook. You're right as you look on from center ice. It'll be Barnes against Harrison. Ryan Harrison, native of Kamloops, against Stu Barnes. Barnes from Spruce Grove, Alberta. Just outside of Edmonton, about 30 miles.
Dean Cook down there yelling out some orders to his guys.
And the wave going around and around. The linesman dropped the puck. Now they're apparently some stuff thrown on the ice. That's too bad. Harrison against Barnes. Barnes winning a quick shot. Blocked by Dean Cook.
And boy, you could see that develop too. Barnes winning the draw, and then Spinrath heading straight towards the net. And Stu reaching around and trying to center it for Greg.
Boy, you can feel that. Hear the crowd react to that music. I'll tell you what, this is great entertainment. If you figure that $6.50 or $8.50 you pay for a ticket, I don't think you could hardly do any better than tonight at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
In behind the net is McLeod. McLeod out for Needham. It's checked away by Spinrath. Back to LeBrun at the point. Americans on a power play. Jakes with it. Jakes in the slot to Nibbs and a whistle.
And oh boy, it looks like it's going against the Americans.
Well, this will be interesting. It'll go 4-on-4 as Spinrath takes a hit at 16-19.
Interference is the call.
And that negates the Tri-Cities power play, which we have as being their third of the game.
You can see David Linford, number 6 for the Kamloops, jumping up and down and saying, yeah.
Blazers are 1 for 4. Now we have 4-on-4 time. This is the time Stu Barnes likes the best. Lots of room on the ice. Blazers with it. Needham to drive. Ferland the rebound. The rebound comes out to LeBrun. Goes into Barnes. Barnes and LeBrun, 2-on-2. Barnes wheels around at the right point. Barnes gets it down. Tries to get it into LeBrun. Has it knocked away by the Blazers. Here comes Kamloops. Phil Huber. Huber quickly across the neutral zone. Huber to the right. Has his poke checked away by Scherstenka. Needham over for it. Whips it around behind the net. But Barnsley's there. Barnes to Jakes. Jakes with it ahead to LeBrun. LeBrun and Barnes bring it up. LeBrun tries to split the defense. Can't do it. McLeod back for the Blazers. McLeod, his pass stolen by Jakes. Ahead to Barnes. Here comes Barnes with LeBrun. LeBrun blocked by Dean Cook. Centered. Barnes backs at it. And Kamloops getting it back into neutral ice. Great saves by Dean Cook.
What a save by Dean Cook.
Barnes with it at the blue line. Chips it in. Here comes Malone, a drive. Around wide of the net. It was a little high. Malone puts a big hit on McLeod. McLeod throws his stick at Malone now as they chase it. Barnes with it around behind the net. Has it knocked away from him by Harrison. Big scramble for the puck. Barnes with it. As McClellan still without his stick. Digging away at it. He and Barnes. And Barnes has him wrapped up completely with the stick. Now McClellan turns around and wants a piece of Barnes. And Barnes looks like he's happy to oblige.
Yeah, let's get Stu out of there. He doesn't need to do it. There's Krause. Yeah, we want to keep Barnesy in there.
Krause comes over and says, hey, you want to fight?
Yeah.
Guy, let's just, we need time.
That's right. That's Krause's job. He goes over there. He's a deputy of defense.
Krause wearing the badge, and looks like they broke it up without anything extra happening. So
you'll see some. Yeah, excuse me.
23 seconds remaining in the penalty to Spenrath. 5 seconds in the penalty to Creighton. So Kamloops would have a brief power play, 13 seconds, when the penalty to Creighton runs out.
Yeah, what you'll see down there too is that Stu Barnes, they'll try to pick on him a little bit because he is such a good player, and they'll try to get him riled up. And with 2:04 left, what a play for Kamloops to get him sitting down for fighting for 5 minutes.
You bet. On the other hand, you can't really back away either.
That's true.
Barnes on the faceoff against Zach Boyer. Barnes getting ready to the right now of Dean Cook. Barnes winning the draw out to Duval. Duval a drive. Cook covers it up, and Dean Cook took a real hit that time.
Yeah, he did.
Dean Cook.
He felt all 6.5 ounces of it right there.
A little bit slow to stand back up, but a big drive from the point. In this case, covered up by Dean Cook. Now 6 seconds remaining in the penalty to Creighton. 2 minutes to play in the hockey game. We're tied at 3. I don't even want to think the OT word.
No.
This is where the crowd could help win this one. It's Barnes against Huber. Barnes sending Duval back. Barnes winning the draw. Duval slides it into the slot. Oh! Flipped wide of the net by Barnes. Blazers with it. Penalty is over to Creighton. Power play for the Blazers coming up. Krause with it as he wheels through his own zone. Krause trying to find LeBrun. Now Krause slapping it in toward Cook.
Teams at equal strength.
And the teams are at even strength as Spenrath's back on the ice. Here comes McLeod. McLeod shoots a pass right for Needham. Knocked away from him by Krause. Back of the Americans. Rennie tries to get it to Spenrath. Spinner racing in after it with McLeod. Spenrath and McLeod along the boards. LeBrun trying to dig it loose. Does. LeBrun gets it out front to Jakes. Jakes and slap right in front of the net, and it's just wide. Goes in behind the net. Now LeBrun chasing in after it. Minute 8 on the clock as it comes out along the boards, and Jakes digging for it. Jakes to Rennie.
1 minute to go.
Rennie in the corner. 1 minute to play in regulation as the puck's tied up there along the net, along the boards behind the net.
Less than a minute left in this one in regulation.
57 seconds to play.
Back-to-back OT games at 3-3?
No. Next action for the Americans on Wednesday night in Spokane against the Spokane Chiefs. We're tied at 3 with 57 seconds to go. The Americans against the Kamloops Blazers.
That'll be a rough and tough game up in Spokane on Wednesday evening.
Boy, howdy, you can count on that.
You know, they're having a great, very successful homestand here in these 4 games. 2-0-1. If they pull this one out tonight, probably, well, they haven't had a homestand like that.
Period. Barnes against Harrison on the faceoff, won by the Americans. Jakes, head of the slot. Jakes slides it down, and it's caught by Dean Cook. Cook had to do the splits to get to it. Wasn't sure quite where that one was going.
Glove save.
And Dean Cook goes down to his knees. Going to have a, looks like he might have popped the lace on that one. 51 seconds remaining in the third period here at Tri-Cities Coliseum.